Hello friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal, and in today's video, I'm going to be putting together my first project using the August themed kit from Colorcast Designs. So the acrylic piece that really caught my eye this time, or at least the first one that I wanted to use, is this one right here that says Happy Place Found. And the story that I decided to tell with this acrylic piece as my main title is about going on a hike, actually a really long hike, with my kids this past week. So I've got this picture that we took at one of the rest stops along the way. We sat down at a picnic table. I propped up my phone and put it on portrait mode, selfie mode, and then had it take the picture of the three of us together. So that's how this one was taken. Now, because of the way that it was on the table, there is a large portion of the picnic table that you can see here in the foreground. Because I have that amount of space there, what I'm planning to do is to actually create a transparency pocket, which I've pulled an older transparency. I'm not even sure what kit this came from. I know it was Allie Edwards. It might have been from the Gratitude Story kit. There was an add-on transparency set, so I'm thinking that's where this came from. But I'm going to sew this into a pocket here on the bottom of my photo, so down in this table section. And then I've got two journaling cards, one that's just a pattern and one that I've gone ahead and added my journaling to that says Today's Walk. I'm actually going to put these back to back, and then these will live inside of this pocket here. At least that is my plan. I'll probably have to turn it this way. And then I'll put the title piece on top. So that is my plan for our spread today. What I'm going to do is go ahead and put you on fast forward while I get everything put together. And then once I've got my layout done, we'll slow down, I'll read my journaling, and then we will finish the video there. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. To get started on the spread for today, the first thing I'm going to do is create my pocket, which I'm going to sew right directly on top of my photo. A lot of times when you get these transparencies, they have a film on the outside of them, so I was just scratching at the surface to see if I still had that film on there or if I had taken it off previously. I had definitely taken it off previously, so then all I needed to do was go ahead and trim that piece down into what will become my pocket. Since I'm going to be stitching along 3 of the 4 sides, I also needed to make sure that the transparency was a little bit larger than the actual card that's going to go inside of it. So I cut that down to 4.5 inches tall by 6.5 inches wide. So that's going to give me plenty of room to add it on top of the photo, and then to still be able to finagle a card in between the transparency and the photo. For my card, I added some journaling onto an older Feed Your Craft card. I want to say that was from maybe Explore More, or it could have been from Local Living. It was definitely one of the, travel-ish type of collections. And then the card on the opposite side is from the same, I believe it's from the same collection. I will see if either of those are still available and go ahead and link up the digital kits below for you. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to capitalize on using the patterned portions of those cards. So one of them has the topographical map, and one of them has a card that is more so geared towards journaling. I printed my journaling onto the card directly, which I always have a tutorial linked in my process videos for how I do that exactly, and using either Photoshop or Microsoft Word. So if you have either of those programs and you're looking for how to print on journaling cards, that's a great tutorial to watch. So I adhered them back to back and then put a tab on the top of it so that it makes it a little easier to pull in and put in and to pull out of the pocket. For my pocket there, all I'm doing is stitching very close to the outside lines on 3 of those 4 sides, so the 2 sides and the bottom. I'm using just a really basic sewing machine there and going directly through the plastic of the transparency and my photo paper. And the stitching turns out perfectly fine. It does not harm the sewing machine to go ahead and stitch through materials like that. It's powerful enough to be okay with that. So then with the pocket on there, I could stick in the journaling card down in between the transparency and the photo so you can see it there, which looks really cool because the transparency also has a slight pattern on it, and I liked the way that that looked on top of each other. For my title piece here, this says Happy Place Found. I am just using my roller adhesive on the back side of the acrylic piece and then sticking it directly down onto the pocket. So this is going to go outside of the page protector, which I will also show you a portion of video here on how exactly I attach this to a spine type of piece that allows me to put it into my album. But we'll do that after I get all of the title pieces and embellishments added onto the pocket here. So the Happy Place Found has a couple of letters that have the inside portion where it's colored, and I love, love, love the way that that looks. And then I also had 2 of the hearts that came in the kit that had both the white outline and a colored inline. So all of that is layered up on there. So this is essentially going to be it for my spread, and normally where I would stop. But here what I'm going to show you is how I attach this into my album. So I have some clear 12 by 12 transparency sheets that I got in a packet or a bundle of them from Michaels. I need to go back and see if I can find them again because they're excellent for stuff like this. I cut that down into a 2-inch, actually it might have been 1.5 inches now that I'm thinking about it. 1.5 inch strip by 12 inches tall. And then I grabbed some double-sided adhesive and I added it to the very edge of one side and both sides because this will eventually attach in between 2 outside of the pocket pages, which you'll see here in a second. Then I grabbed another one of my normal page protectors out, and I'm using that. I'm lining up the plastic piece there to the very edge, and I made 3 marks with a slick writer pen where I need to hole punch it in order for it to go into the album. I then used one of my binder clips there on the end just to hold the 2 pieces together, the 2 pieces of plastic. And then I'm using the I'm using the pocket is what I'm trying to say. The pocket that I would normally put a page in as a guide to let me know at what point I want to add my photo on top, or this 12 by 12 page on top, because we don't want it to go all the way to the edge. We want it to be, as far from the edge as a normal page would be inside of a page protector. So it's just kind of a template, so to say. And stuck it down. And then because the transparency, where I added the adhesive on the transparency didn't go all the way to the edge of my photo. So I'm adding a little bit more on the underneath, just to the edge there, and then I will press that down and it will be good to go, hole punched and in the album. All right, friends, that completes my spread for today. So this gives you an idea for when I'm working inside of a 12 by 12 spread that's going to be outside of the page protector, how I go about putting those into my binder. So I just attach one of those acetate strips or transparency strips to the side here that is 1.5 inches by 12 inches, hole punch that, and then score tape it down onto the edge. And then when I have another spread that goes outside of the page protector, I will simply adhere it back to back with this one, and then I will remove this piece of tape here in order to add that piece on as well. So I hope that gives you a good idea of how I am creating interactive or outside of the page protector type of layouts for a 12 by 12 album, but still putting them in the album itself. Okay, so for the spread in general, I've got this pocket here that we've made with the title here on the front. We can pull out the journaling card here, and then I've got my journaling on the back. And the cool thing is when this is off, you still have a little bit of that pattern there, and then the title and everything stays on the layout. So it's kind of cool, although you can still see behind, which also is a really fun transparent element. So for this story, my journaling says, after visiting the Holly State Park over the weekend and seeing all of the trails to hike on, I decided to take the kids on an adventure hike during the week, just the 3 of us. On Thursday, I packed us a picnic lunch and we set off. The kids were excited about the prospect of walking in the woods, and I was excited to get outside and do something together. After eating our lunch at a picnic table, we set off on what I thought was going to be a 1-ish mile walk. However, the trail went all the way around the lake, and by the time we knew how far we'd gone, there was no turning back. 3 miles and 2.5 hours later, we completed our walk. Surprisingly, the kids really enjoyed themselves. I carried each of them for a super short portion of the hike, but otherwise they totally did it all themselves. They loved looking for the critters and plant life, which they would excitedly show me. As we headed home after completing our hike, the kids said they would like to come back and do this again, but shorter next time. So there we go. So just a little bit of journaling about going for a hike and having, a happy place out in the woods. I will say that when you are working on pockets or working with pockets that are plastic, it is a little bit harder to put things in and out. Like it gets sticky as you are putting the cards back in, but they do go in. And I don't expect that this is something that's going to be taken out and put in and out and in a whole bunch. So really that's okay with me. All right, well, I hope that you enjoyed seeing how this layout came together today, and if you did, I would love a thumbs up on this video down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button while you're there if you haven't already, so you can catch all of my future crafty videos. Also, if you didn't know, today is the Colorcast Design release day, so all of these products, these ones, plus a whole bunch more are available in the shop today, which you will find a link to down in the description box below, in addition to any other products that I used for today's layout. Well, friends, until next time, I hope that you have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, friends.